Speaking of what's going on here locally, this is going to be a story I am leading off with. It's very important, and I'm probably going to sound a bit like a broken record. We've been talking about this. Me and Lawrence have been talking about this last couple of weeks. We've been coming on. COVID rates are spiking in Michigan. It's honestly pretty unprecedented on a list of top 30 cities. At least 7 Michigan cities were in the top 10. Jackson, in particular, was doing really well. And I think Kalamazoo, Battle Creek area was hovering somewhere around number 7. So things are really bad. We are one of the big COVID hotspots in the country, if not the world, right now. We need to, again, everybody out there, please be careful. Stay home. I know the end's in sight. One thing that the article I'm about to read from doesn't touch on, a lot of people or a lot of doctors are seeing presence of the UK COVID variant, which I'll just describe in plain speaking terms real quick. It's almost indistinguishable from regular COVID, except it's much more contagious, which can also kind of lead into why we're seeing this just absolute explosion of coronavirus here in the state of Michigan. And if you look at a national heat map, we're all just like red and orange, whereas the rest of the country, it seems to be kind of dissipating. So really, you live in the city of Kalamazoo or the state of Michigan, be careful. Like, pretend it is a year ago and we are all just hunkering down. So that's what we need to do in order to prevent this spread and try to get this thing clamped down just a little bit. Actually, I was just complaining with my partner. We were going to go see Rage Against the Machine this summer, but that got delayed another year because too many people out there being COVIDiots. Boo, 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 indeed. Heavy boo. I was kind of, I was going to go see Rage Against the Machine and Run the Jewels, but we're not allowed to do anything fun yet because cue 30-minute lecture about how capitalist propaganda and the hard-wrenching rightward substitutes of culture issues versus any sort of substantive discussion of actual issues has led to this quagmire of just nonsense where we have a whole political constituency in this country that thinks it's a nice political statement to just magically forget how germs work. And I will be talking more about that in an upcoming story, but let's get to I'm going to break down some really important just information for you. And this is from an article in MLive. And just so you know, I'm not blowing smoke out of my bum. This is an article that was published yesterday. Bronson Hospital in Kalamazoo is nearing COVID-19 capacities as hospitals see surge statewide. This is written by Brad Devereaux. I'm just going to go ahead and read from the article. This is just really critical information. As COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations surge statewide, Bronson Methodist Hospital in downtown Kalamazoo recently reached 99% capacity for COVID-19 patients, according to state data. The hospital said it is following procedures in place since the beginning of the pandemic to manage bed space, staffing, and to maintain a safe environment for all patients and staff. Across the larger Bronson healthcare system, there are currently 71 COVID-19 patients hospitalized, including 48 patients at Bronson Methodist Hospital in Kalamazoo. Bronson spokesperson Carolyn Wiley said. Those numbers are much higher than they were just a month ago. For comparison, on February 8th, there were 29 patients across the Bronson healthcare system. On March 8th, there were 15. As was the standard process before COVID-19, when patient volumes change throughout the day, the hospital system makes adjustments as needed, she said. If we reach temporary capacity in certain areas, we may temporarily close to regional patient transfers or go on diversion to ambulance traffic until our capacity opens back up, Wiley said. If we reach a level where our capacity is consistently above our normal licensed bed count or more than our current staffing model is designed for, we will evaluate the need to implement our surge plan. This includes alternative staffing models and or the addition of more beds, which were approved for emergency use by the state during the first phase of the pandemic. More than a year after COVID-19 arrived in Michigan, the state has seen a recent increase in cases and hospitalizations. The current 7-day average of 113 total cases in Kalamazoo County is adding COVID 19 cases at a level last seen in December, when cases were decreasing after the surge in mid November brought the 7-day total case averages to above 150. Statewide, 16 hospitals were over 90% capacity as of Monday, April 5th. Four were at 100% capacity, and that includes Beaumont, Wayne, McLaren, Port Huron, McLaren, Oakland, and Ascension St. Joseph Hospital in Tawas County. And five were at 99% capacity, including Bronson Methodist here in Kalamazoo, Fort Henry, Henry Ford in Macomb, Hurley in Flint, and St. Joseph Mercy in Ann Arbor. Ascension Bronson Hospital in Kalamazoo was at 77% bed capacity as of April 5th. So that just illustrates to you how quickly these case numbers are escalating. Wiley stressed the importance of recognizing the strain a spike in cases and hospitalizations puts on hospital staff and others on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. They continue to show great care, compassion, and dedication to the well-being of all of our patients and each other, she said. Wiley said Bronson reminds the community that the best way to assist the medical community is to help slow the spread of COVID-19 by wearing a mask, social distancing, limiting gatherings, and by scheduling an appointment to get vaccinated as soon as possible. And just some information for y'all. You can go to the Kalamazoo County Health Department website. Just Google that. And as of right now, it is open enrollment for vaccine, anybody over the age of 16. And they are basically doing a process where there's 3 times a day. You can hop on their website, try to make an appointment, 7 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. I would advise you get on there quick. I've had friends describe it. It's like trying to get tickets to a really popular concert. You got to get on there early. You got to get there on there. Just try to get something in as soon as possible, because the vaccines, in a good way, are going like hot cakes, as it were. But I did just want to emphasize those are available to the general public. There's going to be some pop-ups events going on, but right now, the biggest and the best way to try to get signed up for vax is to get on the county's website and sign up. Again, that's Mondays at 7 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. So kind of connected to this, and especially when we're talking about mask wearing, some of y'all in the community may have heard about this absolutely nonsense coming from a local business owner, and we are going to talk about this on the show. And this is something that hits a little bit close to home, because this is about so a local gym. The owner put out something on their social media, and I'm just going to read it, because it's a pretty outrageous and ridiculous. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the context, some of the fallout after that. So this was from the owner of Strength Beyond Fitness, Aaron DePrima, and he wrote, "Going forward, masks will not be allowed at Strength Beyond Fitness. We feel that it's adding to a narrative that is perpetuating political discourse and nonsense, and it is extremely unhealthy if you are exerting yourself. If you are a member and feel wearing a mask is protecting you or others, text me and I will freeze your account until there are no mask mandates." Okay, so on a personal note, this is actually where I've been going to the gym prior to the pandemic for about the last 6 years now. When they had the Vine neighborhood location next to Rice Kitchen, and I actually had kept my membership going just because I understand it's hard times, pandemic, and then I had been hearing scuttlebutt that they were being kind of lax on their mask policy, and then this thing came across my feed. Now I wrote them pretty quick and told them I'm canceling my membership. So let's focus. I want to hone in on something that was said here. It's adding to a narrative that is perpetuating political discourse and nonsense. It's masking up is not a discourse. It is not a point of politics. As I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the context of the United States, it is very unique that here in the United States, wearing a mask is taken up as kind of like this, no step on snake, liberty issue. In other countries, even during regular flu season, wearing a mask let me check my notes. It is considered, common sense. Common sense. Yes. And I think there's a lot, the scholars are going to be writing a lot in the future about this pandemic and how you really, it's really amazing how the polarization and just absolute disinvestment in education here in the United States has led to this bizarre outcome where people are either misremembering or completely forgetting how germs work. Or, obviously there's other ideas, like the idea that they think COVID-19 is exaggerated or somehow it is fake and it is part of some conspiracy. This Jim post doesn't really dive into that, but the actual physics of wearing a mask are not nonsense. It is medical common sense. If you have a barrier between where you breathe and the outside world, less particulates are going to either leave your orifice or come into yours. Particularly, we're talking about leaving your orifice. And in the context of COVID, where a lot of people are asymptomatic, it is both common courtesy and a just baseline good practice health measure to prevent other people from getting sick and yourself from getting sick if everybody's wearing masks. And as has been mentioned, the idea that they also threw out this idea that it makes it more difficult to work out or is it somehow unhealthy, patently false. There's no data that backs that up. Many of us have been working out and doing strenuous activity with masks for the better part of a year. As someone who works in the healthcare field, I am masked up all the time at work, and you do not see me complaining like a little baby about it. Which again, it's kind of funny. Like these gym guys, like they have this culture of like, we're manly men. We're so strong. We're masculine. But don't put the cloth thing in front of my face. No, please don't. I can't take it. So as one can imagine, there was a significant pushback. Now, the Kalamazoo Gazette picked up on this, and after he posted this, Aaron DiPrima, he kind of walked it back and did it in the most lazy way possible. He told the Kalamazoo Gazette that he was just trying to get a reaction, whatever that means. Like, you're openly maybe like you're trolling the Kalamazoo area. Is that what that is? That's what it sounds like. But he goes on to say, I wasn't even intending to enforce that when I posted it. I was just trying to get a reaction, business as usual. What? That's nonsense. What are those words? Those are words. I don't know what they mean. Just like I wouldn't want to force somebody to wear a mask, I don't want to force them not to wear one either, except that that's the complete opposite of what you just posted. And I can verify people were calling that number and reaching out to the owner, and until such a point, he was acting like this was serious. He was saying, I will freeze your account in response to people that were reaching out to him on social media. This was not on April 1st. This wasn't a prank. Here's what happened. He realized what a bad negative response he was getting from the community for posting such dangerous nonsense. I really emphasize dangerous. He posted this thing in an environment where you're exerting yourself and he's saying no masks, we're banning those at a time when, as I talked about in my last story, Michigan and Kalamazoo are hotspots in the state, in the country, in the world for COVID-19. There was not a worse time during the pandemic. He could have put out something like this, and he did. He got pushback, and now he's claiming that it was all just, a prank. It was all in good fun. It was trying to get a reaction. No, it was you put your foot in your mouth. You acted like a COVID idiot, and people in the community called you out on it. Again, the whole thing, there is no narrative. You wear a mask in order to protect yourself and your community from germs, from a virus. This is not difficult. This is grade school biology. You learn this in second or third grade. Why are people having such a hard time with this? Again, I've described some of the reasons earlier. Again, the American conservative brainwashing has really done a number on the whole concept of liberty. Because even some of the old school American ones who we criticize on a lot on the show for being slave owners and stuff, had a more communal concept of liberty. The idea we should have freedom from overreaching tyranny, but not like deep down into your personal choices. When your personal choices negatively affect other people, there was still a communal sense of liberty that we are supposed to do, work towards the common good. um, and this kind of toxic version of it that's really emerged, especially post Cold War, that like my individual choices should be protected at all costs, even when it kills people in the community I live in. That's gross. It's toxic. It's something that is uniquely American, and is apparently very unique to this gym. Um, and I did want to wrap up, just like, if that wasn't enough, this particular gym owner, and this is also something I did not know myself, has also gotten in trouble before. Um, in 2019, they were arrested and convicted, pled guilty to one count of possession of steroids, and essentially, yeah, not super disappointing. But also, I'm going to point this out, just to, like, there's a lot of cultural pathologies that seem to be like kind of intersecting on this story, and I want to kind of emphasize this. So this is something they posted on Reddit about a year ago. They talked about he's driving the train here because all the gyms in Battle Creek went soft. Apparently, an alarm goes off if you do anything manly, like lift a big weight, wail a battle cry, or club a breeding age female and drag her back to your cave for reproductive purposes. Yeah. So I'm just going to, all of that stuff speaks for itself, and I am going to cap off this story by letting you know, um, here's some other places you can work out at. There's Endurance Fitness and Wellness, that's over on West Main. There's the YMCA. They've got two locations with plenty of workout equipment. There's the one on Maple Street, and then the one out in Portage by Center. There's the Powerhouse Gym, which is kind of over down Westnedge, out by Portage, kind of near Hibachi, Lee's Chicken, all that stuff. Also worth pointing out, there is a little bit further down Parkview, there's an Anytime Fitness, and there's a Planet Fitness location further down Westnedge and over on Stadium if you're closer to campus. And of course, if you are a student, a WMU student who is listening to this, you can go and work out at the Athletic Center for free anytime you like. So you have options if you want to go to a gym that is not owned by a plague rat who apparently sells illicit drugs and thinks that we should be clubbing women over the head. So yeah, just general good information to put out there, and just a word to the wise. It is important to work out. It's important to stay in shape. As we like to say, a fascist worked out today. Did you? And there's also other options if you're wary of going to work out and lift weights during a pandemic at all. Generally, you look online, you can usually find a weight set in the $100-$200 range, and a bench and weight set between $300 to $400. Again, that's not accessible to everybody, especially some of the lower income folks who listen to this program. But hey, if you live in a communal setting, maybe it's something you can all pitch in money towards if you got some extra STEMI money. But yeah, there are other workout options besides Strength Beyond. And again, as somebody who worked out for 6 years, very disappointed. I'm going to be, I guess, making my gains at home from now on.